My stepson entered my room as I was concluding my shower. The steam enveloped me in a warm haze, lingering in the air. I have always appreciated the tranquil moments alone after a long day in the garden. Wrapping a towel around myself, I observed my reflection. Noting the fine lines and silver hair that had accumulated over the years, such as the passage of life, subtle and almost imperceptible. I was unprepared for Jonathan's entrance. I had been in solitude for an extended period, reflecting on cherished memories while striving to remain present. He entered with an effortless gait, his deep voice disrupting my reverie. In the ensuing silence, I discerned something different in his eyes, an unspoken yet palpable connection. Following Henry's passing, I had managed to establish a serene rhythm. The home we had built together had grown quieter, yet it possessed a certain beauty and calmness that I treasured. Caramel by the Sea was characterized by its undulating fog and serpentine streets. Yet it was also a local retreat with memories of Henry and me, evoking the life we had lived. Although I missed him daily, I derived comfort from the art, the galleries, and the flowers we cultivated together. When James, my stepson, requested to reside with me, I was taken aback. My reluctance to have him here stemmed not from a lack of desire, but rather from the reminder of the family I had lost and the bonds I had gradually severed over the years. During the initial years of my marriage to his father, James exhibited emotional distance. Nevertheless, as he matured, he became more affable, and we developed a strong relationship, although he maintained a subtle detachment. Years had elapsed since my previous encounter with him. When I opened the door that evening and beheld him standing there, it resembled encountering both a stranger and a shared James simultaneously. He had matured into an attractive man with broad shoulders and a composed yet contemplative expression. I felt an unexpected warmth at seeing him. A sensation that fluttered in my chest when he entered and held me. "Thank you for allowing me to remain, Evelyn," he stated, his tone kind and genuine. I required a tranquil and stabilizing environment. His comments resonated, alluding to an anguish James had, yet I only smiled, motioning for him to accompany me indoors. "Absurdity, James," I first responded, guiding him to the guest room. "This residence was intended for family use. I am pleased by your presence." James acclimated swiftly to the leisurely rhythm of life in Caramel. His presence imbued the home with a soothing energy, a warmth I had not experienced in quite some time. We engaged in a soothing routine, enjoying breakfasts in the sunny kitchen, taking long walks on the beach, and spending afternoons perusing antiquarian books in my library. I had forgotten the sensation of sharing space and conversation effortlessly with someone. There was a serene quality to our moments together. However, in the silent intervals between our words, I observed a lingering gaze and a contemplative smile. He appeared to regard me as if perceiving me for the first time, with an intensity that both fascinated and unsettled me. One evening, we sat on the porch, seeing the sun descend beyond the horizon. James produced an aged bottle of wine, and we savored it, gradually relishing its richness. "Do you ever sense that the past lingers like an old friend you cannot relinquish?" he inquired abruptly. His tone kind. I turned to him, astonished by the question. "Yes, I do," he replied candidly. "It's an aspect of aging, I believe. Clinging to memories and allowing them to coexist with you in subtle ways." He nodded, and we lapsed into a comfortable silence. However, beneath his words, I discerned a melancholy, a longing that eluded my understanding. Yet as he gazed at me in the diminishing light, I experienced an inexplicable attraction, a connection that quickened my heart. As the days unfolded, James and I developed a tighter bond in unforeseen manners. He accompanied me in my garden, assisting me in caring for the roses and lavender shrubs I had planted in memory of Henry. His hands exhibited an elegance reminiscent of an artist, both delicate and deliberate, compelling me to observe him more intently than intended. We engaged in hushed dialogues during late evenings by the fireplace when he recited poetry from volumes I had not perused in years. His voice, deep and resonant, permeated the space, intertwining with the words and evoking feelings. After a prolonged period of inactivity, one evening, as he perused a line from our poetry, he glanced up and briefly met my eyes. The atmosphere felt dense, imbued with an unarticulated tension. I sensed my cheeks reddening and promptly averted my gaze, dismissing it with a laugh. However, the recollection persisted, becoming increasingly difficult to overlook. There were additional instances of this nature, such as when our hands inadvertently touched while exchanging a book or when our laughter faded into a silence that conveyed significantly more than mere words. It seemed as if we were irresistibly attracted to one another, each of us in search of solace and companionship in an unforeseen manner. Then arrived the night that transformed everything. It was late, and I had just exited the shower, enveloping myself in a towel. The home was tranquil, save for the distant sound of waves breaking, and I relished the calm, allowing it to envelop me. I was taken aback when I heard a gentle knock on my bedroom door. Before I could answer, it opened, and James entered, his face illuminated by the hallway light. "Oh, Evelyn," he said, "I apologize." He stammered, his eyes widening as he observed my partially concealed form. For a moment, neither of us moved. I grasped my towel more tightly, experiencing both embarrassment and an unusual fascination with his presence. He maintained his gaze, and the intensity of his stare rendered me vulnerable, exposed in multiple ways. "It's fine," I managed to utter, my voice scarcely above a whisper. The atmosphere between us was laden with unexpressed emotions, tension that was simultaneously daunting and exhilarating. He took a tentative step forward, his gaze unwavering. "Evelyn," he expressed uncertainly, his voice imbued with a tenderness that resonated with my emotions. I had a momentary interruption in my breathing as he extended his hand, his fingers brushing against mine. His touch exuded warmth and a subtle firmness that drew me nearer, eliminating the distance between us. In that instant, I recognized that I had been longing for this, a sensation I had not had in years, an indisputable connection. An opportunity to experience vitality once more. Subsequent to that evening, a transformation occurred in our relationship, characterized by an implicit comprehension evident in every gaze and caress. I saw the necessity of relinquishing my obsession, disregarding the insistent murmurs in my thoughts that beckoned me toward him. Yet with each passing day, the subtle exhilaration intensified, embedding itself in my chest and rendering it hard to avert my gaze. James appeared more observant than ever, his presence permeating each area like a subdued tempest. He was kind, assisting me with little household jobs, yet each contact was imbued with a palpable energy that none of us could overlook. Each morning I would discover him awaiting my arrival in the kitchen. A mug of tea prepared, his grin both recognizable and imbued with an element that quickened my heartbeat. One evening, when we were seated in the living room with the fireplace quietly crackling, he extended his hand to gently remove a strand of hair from my face. The contact was fleeting, yet it elicited a chill up my spine. He maintained eye contact, his eyes mirroring the flickering firelight, his countenance inscrutable, yet imbued with a profound passion that rendered breathing difficult. "Evelyn," murmured softly, hardly a whisper. "There is something I have been eager to express." My heart raced, and I averted my gaze, apprehensive of the following words. Yet a part of me yearned to hear them. "James," I whispered, attempting to stabilize my voice, "we ought to exercise caution." He nodded, yet his stare remained steadfast, imbued with a warmth that appeared to dissolve my barriers. He responded gently, his voice unwavering. However, occasionally events occur that elude explanation. Occasionally, we are destined to experience emotions that take us by surprise. I was unable to articulate a response. I only nodded, sensing the gravity of his words enveloped me like a reassuring blanket. In that instant, I recognized that the connection between us was as tangible as the air. A bond transcending superficial dialogue or rationale. The subsequent days were imbued with tranquil moments that conveyed more than verbal communication. Our exchanges became increasingly subdued, interwoven with implicit significances and unarticulated realities that we both hesitated to confront. Each touch and glance appeared to draw us nearer, immersing us in a realm that was simultaneously exhilarating and daunting. I had a conflict between the want to investigate this relationship and the apprehension over its implications for us. Memories of Henry emerged, instilling guilt within me. However, I recognized that he would have desired my pursuit of happiness and a full engagement with the present. In James's company, I experienced a vitality I had not felt in years, as if I were unearthing a long-buried aspect of myself, acutely aware of my inner turmoil. Safia visited me one day. Observing me with a discerning gaze, her keen eyes missing nothing as I prepared tea for us both. After a little quiet, she extended her hand across the table, grasping mine. "Evelyn," she started. Her tone delicate yet assertive, "I perceive that something has been troubling you. I have known you for an extended period to disregard it." I experienced indecision, uncertain about the extent of my disclosure. Yet the expression in her eyes compelled me to confide. "My name is James," I confessed, my voice almost inaudible. "That I experience emotions I cannot articulate, emotions I ought not to have." Safia's demeanor softened, a little grin emerging at the corners of her lips. "Evelyn, you are a human being. After years of being alone, it is only natural to desire friendship and a sense of connection once more. There is no disgrace in it." Her comments alleviated part of the stress in my chest. But I still had a persistent guilt, a sense of obligation that restrained me. I spoke to HK, my stepson, my voice imbued with remorse. "The situation is intricate, and I wish to preserve our current relationship." Sophia acknowledged, comprehending the significance of my statements. "Proceed gradually. Allow events to develop organically. You need not make any decisions at this moment. Simply allow yourself to experience your emotions without judgment." Her counsel resonated within me long after her departure, imparting a clarity I had not previously encountered. Perhaps for now, it sufficed to let circumstances unfold naturally, permitting this tranquil connection to develop without coercion into something more. That evening, as I prepared for slumber, I found myself lingering by the window, gazing at the moonlit garden below. The roses and lavender bushes swayed gently in the breeze, their subtle fragrance permeating the air. I contemplated Henry and the life we had constructed together, feeling a serene sense of peace envelop me, as if he were watching over me, guiding me. Just as I turned to depart, a gentle knock resonated on my bedroom door, causing my heart to momentarily falter. I instinctively recognized it was James. "Come in," I called, my voice unwavering despite my racing heart. He entered, his expression tentative, yet imbued with quiet resolve. He traversed the room in mere strides, his gaze locked onto mine, and I sensed the gravity of all that remained unspoken between us. "Evelyn," he said, his voice subdued. I was unable to sleep. I continuously contemplated all matters. I acquiesced, experiencing a warmth enveloping me as he approached. He extended his fingers, brushing my cheek, and I closed my eyes, relishing the sensation, allowing myself to immerse in the moment. "James," I murmured, my voice scarcely perceptible, uncertain of its nature. I perceived the authenticity of the moment as he smiled, his expression gentle and affectionate. I acknowledged this, and it sufficed for me. In that instant, I relinquished my doubts and fears, allowing myself to be fully present with him, to experience the warmth of his embrace and the rhythmic pulse of his heart against mine. It was a serene, uncomplicated moment. Yet it possessed a profound significance that words could never encapsulate. As time progressed, James and I established a tranquil rhythm, fostering a new understanding that drew us closer than ever. We refrained from discussing the future or making promises. Instead, we treasured each moment, allowing our bond to develop organically, devoid of expectations or demands. Then, one morning, James received a job offer from a university across the country. He conveyed the news to me during breakfast, his expression a blend of exhilaration and melancholy. "I will miss this place," he stated, his voice gentle. "I will miss you." I had a pang of loss, yet also a sense of acceptance, recognizing that this was destined to occur. Our time together was a gift. An opportunity to reconnect with life and experience love and friendship anew. "I will miss you as well," I answered, extending my hand across the table. "I express gratitude for the time we have shared. It has been a blessing." He nodded, his expression conveying comprehension, and we spent the remainder of the day in silent camaraderie, cherishing each minute as he organized his belongings and prepared to depart. We exchanged a concluding embrace, a poignant farewell that reflected our common experiences. As he departed, I had profound tranquility, recognizing that our intersection was purposeful and that our connection would be silently treasured in my heart. Subsequent days prompted me to contemplate our shared experiences, instilling in me a revitalized sense of purpose and delight in his presence. I recognized a facet of myself I believed to be lost. One that possessed the capacity for love, connection, and genuine vitality. As I stood by the window, observing the sun descend beyond the horizon, I experienced a profound gratitude for the unseen encounter that revitalized me, illuminating the beauty inherent in each ephemeral moment.